Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. So, I'm compelled to do another Yeonmi Park on Joe Rogan. Can you see that? Let me see. Number 1691. By the way, today, or actually yesterday, today's what, Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. So, Joe had on Chad Mendes, retired UFC MMA fighter, fucking awesome guy, really great, nice guy. Um, Sad news is he's gonna start doing bare-fisted fighting starting October. He's like 36 now, so he's still in his prime. You could really today you could go into your deep 30s still fighting. Hey, and they were talking about guys who went into their 40s. Randy Couture, a bunch of guys who were still really effective. Randy Couture was on top of his game in his 40s. So, and then boxing, Bernard Hoskins, what's his name? Whatever, He was 50 years old, but he was more of a defensive fighter. So anyway, I digress. Chad Mendes, incredible guy. I wish he wouldn't do it. He still looks great, man. The guy's jacked. I'll be doing a separate video on that. An MMA podcast with Joe Rogan. But anyway, so here, this Yeonmi Park, 1691, part one. I talked to, there's a whole bunch. The podcast was like 3 hours long. She talked, it was just a horrific story living in North Korea. Essentially, everyone's starving, right? No freedom, there's no internet, everyone's totally ignorant. It's all propaganda, basically, Kim Jong-un or whatever the fuck that idiot's name is like Jesus Christ, a god, like he's a son of a god. They base, like the Christian, Judeo-Christian faith, the Bible, they base the whole thing, it's similar to that, but the god is Kim Jong-un. It's horrible. But anyway, she talks about how she escaped going through the desert, and it really, she was living on bugs. There was literally starving to death, and the only way she survived was eating bugs. And then, like, other stories were there were just dead people all around, and then the rats were eating their faces, and the kids would catch the rats and eat them. Listen to the podcast; it's incredible. However, I talked about, because this is just the one part, about her discussion, how she criticized the woke people, woke culture. She's been in this country since, what was it, 2014? Something like that, right? So, 5, 6 years. She went to Columbia, by the way. I talked about it in the other video, which is really incredible, considering she knew nothing when she came here. She didn't know anyone. She didn't even know who Michael Jackson was. That's right. Michael Jackson had just died when she came to this country. So that was like 2012, something like that. I don't know. Or maybe she was let's say she went to China first and then, okay. The timeline, I'm a little mixed up here. But anyway, after all of that stuff she had gone through, she was criticizing this country. She was criticizing liberals and Democrats and the and woke culture. I'm like, really? Like, that's what you want? That's what you want to talk about? Listen. She did spend a couple of hours on the real heavy shit, but like, why does that even bother you? Like wokeism. I think the whole thing is fucking ridiculous. This trans shit and pronouns, it's horrible. But it doesn't affect my life, and it's such a minor thing. Cancer culture, all that stuff, that doesn't affect my life at all. And again, I'm an older guy. I'm not a young person, perhaps, in corporate America and all that. I'm not a celebrity with the fear of being canceled and all that, like Joe is. That's love Joe to death, but man, it's like too much. All he talks about is wokeism, cancel culture, and all that kind of stuff. No, it's not. Listen, I love Joe to death. His best podcast in the world, not even close. But he does spend too much time on that. All right. So anyway, getting to the point here, it seems to be getting a little bit better here. But as you can see, 5 thumbs up, 18 slams, thumbs down, 9 comments, and they're so horrific they don't even show up. But I have, the YouTube studio, so I see all the comments, even the horrible ones that YouTube catches, and like, I don't know, the real profanity filled, like really abusive stuff, I guess YouTube automatically flags. Sometimes I even erase these. They're just so horrendous. But they were so nasty and abusive. Like I talked about the fact that this person, Yeomni, uh, weighs 80 pounds now. And when she got to this country, she's like just frail. Like even Joe said, I was afraid to kind of shake her hand. She was the most frail person I've ever met. It seemed like she was made of glass, but yet she had pretty big breasts, like well developed. I talked about that. And it looks like she had, let me get to this page again. It looked like she had breast implants, you know, and that's a shitty thing to bring up. I agree. And here's another person who said the same thing. By the way, some good comments here. I appreciate it. And this person says, yeah, I was thinking the same thing about the implants. I'm a skeptic to a fault. And if her stories are 100% legit, then shame on me for saying this, but something's a little off. Exactly. My sentiments, exactly. It wasn't a malicious thing. And I even stated that, listen, this is America. So what? You know, low self-esteem after living in that country. So what? If you want to get breast implants, who cares? You want to look pretty. You're a young person. I have no problems with it. But it just seemed a little odd. Like you're eating grasshoppers. You're fighting for your life. And you're getting breast implants and going after wokeism in the left. That's all. And some of her stories were a little exaggerated. I talked about it in the other video. Like she was robbed and she was like, this is a little person by 3 black women. No less. 3 black women. Really? Okay. It's possible in Chicago. She was holding them. Like this is a little itty bitty thing. This girl, she was holding them and she said she was going to call the cops, and like 20 white people were witnessing this and calling her, Yeomni, a racist for calling the robbers. It's fucked up. Like, God, it's so hard to believe. And Joe didn't call her on it. Listen, I guess he didn't want to. There was a bunch of other stuff too. So, but these people were saying, "Oh, you fucking pervert! What are you, a creep, talking about her breasts?" I'm like, "Holy shit!" And I listened to it again. I said, maybe I went too far. Maybe it was I said something inappropriate. And I listened to it. And it wasn't a very good video, by the way. By the way, I have no script. I just talk off the cuff. You know, this is what this is, Tabor talk. And sometimes the videos suck or not so good. And this one was like it was kind of okay. Not too much detail. But it was like I was like the worst human being ever. Like calling me a scumbag and like, fuck you. Like, listen, man, I'm a family man. What if someone sees these comments? I think they flagged them, but who are these people? I mean, they're just a lot of lonely, angry people. So anyway, this morning, the comments are a lot better. Here's another one here. To clarify, and I'm not saying she's lying, but the way she tells the stories, they have an outrageous factor to them that seems a little embellished. All right, so I'm not crazy. Here's another one. Shame. I was shocked the whole way through, the whole podcast, but many things seemed off to me as well. And I just said my sentiments exactly. So there you go. I do a lot of videos, as you can see, on Joe Rogan, and I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. In fact, I haven't missed a single podcast. I listen to every minute of every podcast. I haven't missed a podcast. I can't even imagine. Like since 2014, like every single one. MMA stuff, even stuff I'm not into, like hunting. I'm not a hunter at all. But Joe's so good. He makes everything interesting. He's that good, as we all know. That's why we love him. But okay, coming on like 9 minutes. I just wanted to do a follow up on this. Yeomni Park, check it out, 3 hours. It's a crazy podcast. Yeomni Park, and I'm gonna do another video. Well, as I said, Chad Mendes, fucking awesome guy. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Peace, love, and understanding here at Tabor Talk.